AITA for telling my ex that his kids aren't my responsibility? I, 31F, recently faced a challenging situation with my ex that has left me feeling frustrated and conflicted. To provide some context, I have a daughter with my ex, and we have been separated for some time. My ex has children from a previous relationship, and while I try to maintain a cordial relationship with him for the sake of our daughter, there have been recurring issues that I find increasingly difficult to manage. A few days ago, I needed to pick up my daughter from her daycare because we had plans to go to the movies together. I had a tight schedule and limited time. While I was at the daycare, my ex asked if we could talk. I agreed as I wanted to address any issues amicably. During our conversation, my ex expressed his frustration that I don't take his children along whenever I take our daughter out. Specifically, he was upset because I was planning to take our daughter to see Despicable Me 4. He seemed to believe that I was also supposed to take his other kids with me. Given my time constraints and the fact that I had planned this outing specifically for our daughter, it was simply not feasible for me to include his children as well. This situation isn't isolated. Last year, when I gave our daughter a birthday gift, my ex complained that his children felt left out and that I was making things worse for them. I find it problematic that he expects me to take on responsibilities for his children beyond what is reasonable, especially when their care and activities are primarily his responsibility. My ex's approach seems to be to shift the blame onto others when things don't go as planned. He tends to avoid accountability and instead tries to make me feel responsible for his children's feelings and circumstances. I understand that co-parenting can be challenging, but his expectations for me to include his children in every aspect of my life with our daughter are not fair. His children have a mother and a father who should be taking responsibility for their needs and emotions. I firmly believe that setting boundaries is important in this situation. I told my ex directly that his children are not my responsibility in the same way that our daughter is. I explained that while I am always willing to support our daughter and be there for her, I cannot and should not be expected to take on the role of caregiver or provider for his other children. Since then, my ex has continued to express his dissatisfaction, and some mutual acquaintances have reached out to suggest that I should reconsider my stance and be more inclusive. I feel conflicted because I want to support a healthy relationship between all parties involved, but I also believe that my boundaries are necessary for maintaining my well-being and fairness in the situation. Given these circumstances and the repeated nature of these complaints, I'm questioning whether I am being unreasonable for firmly setting this boundary with my ex. I am seeking advice on whether my response was justified or if I should reconsider my approach. AITA for telling my ex that his kids aren't my responsibility?